everybody, my name is Duane and I'm an alcoholic. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to try not to lie. No, I'm just kidding. I want to start off by saying I'm a grateful alcoholic, and for the newcomers, that's probably going to make you want to puke. I know when I first came into the rooms and I heard the guys up here talking about being a grateful alcoholic, I didn't understand what they were talking about. And I thought it was like the lamest thing I ever heard of. But since then, since I've done what was suggested in these rooms, which is nobody told me except for my counselor what I had to do, because I had a really good counselor. We were a good fit. He told me he was just what I needed, man. He was kind of hardcore. I'm a Turning Point alumni, and I think he got asked to leave because he was too hardcore at the time, because he used to get right in people's faces and tell them the truth. And Turning Point Simpson is trying to want to tone it down a little bit, but I needed to hear the truth. I needed to learn what the truth was, because I had no idea. I was, in my disease, I was a liar and a cheat and a thief. And when I drank, it escalated. I was a huge liar, a bad thief, and it was all bad. I ended up getting in a lot of trouble, hurting a lot of people. I was a real piece of work. I look around this, and the reason I say I'm grateful to be an alcoholic is because I learned in these rooms about a little thing called gratitude. And gratitude's kind of like a two-sided coin. This is what I say is my opinion, okay? They say I learned to be grateful for a lot. I learned how to appreciate things. I learned how to appreciate being able to be in the same room with my brother and my sister sober. You know what I'm saying? All my friends. They can come in these rooms and to look across and see my sister sitting there, and knowing she's not out there high, running amok, whatever. I know that she's safe and home and she's doing the right thing. When people ask me how she's doing, I get to perk up and say, she's doing great. She's got a job, she's got a promotion, she's a manager in the department she works for, and all this stuff, instead of, I don't know, man, why? Would she steal your car? I don't have to say that anymore. God bless you, Debbie. But, you know what I mean? And the same thing about me. She doesn't have to say that about me either. Because that's the kind of alcoholics and stuff that we were. We were ruthless. And I don't have to worry about when the phone rings if it's somebody telling me that Johnny got in a DUI accident and he's dead or something. You know what I'm saying? I used to, when I was out ripping and running, it didn't matter. But when I got sober and they were still out there, wow, I know what my parents went through. Because people you care about, you know what I mean, are out there ripping and running, and it hurts, But the things I get to be grateful for today is I get to make decisions. See, I'd make myself into prisons and institutions and jails and all that stuff, where they took my ability and my privilege of making decisions away. I didn't get to wake up when I wanted to and put on whatever clothes I wanted to, and eat what I wanted to, go to the bathroom when I wanted to, and walk outside. I can walk outside and get a breath of fresh air right now if I want to. If I really want to, I could tell you guys to wait a minute and walk out to my trunk, get my cell phone, and make a phone call. Wouldn't be very polite, but I can do that. When you're sitting in West Block, San Quentin, you don't have that choice. Okay? If my parents were still alive today, they'd be saying, I'm damn proud of my son Johnny and my daughter Debbie and my other son Duane. Man, there was a time when they were more worried about us than they were proud. You know what I mean? And I have so much to be grateful for today. I don't have to look over my shoulder. I don't have to worry about, I see a cop, so I can say hi. I actually seen a cop the other day. I said, hey, God bless you for what you do. And he looked at me like he was ready to shoot me or something. Like, what are you up to, dude? But for real, and I was serious and I meant it. And I could go on about gratitude. And gratitude is not only a good feeling and being happy about something, it's action. That's the other side of it that I talk about. It's a two-headed coin. Where for me to be grateful is to show gratitude is when my phone rings. I don't care what time it is. If it's another alcoholic that needs help, I'm there. It's if I got tickets to a Giants game and somebody calls and says, hey, bro, I need you to come share my meeting. I go, I find somebody to give the tickets to, and I go share the meeting, because AA saved my life. Gratitude is action, okay? Going to a meeting isn't always the thing that you want to do. But I found that when I don't want to go to a meeting, that's when I really need to go to a meeting. I've learned a lot in these rooms. I've grown up in these rooms. I'm still in the process of growing up in these rooms. Man, my maturity level stopped, I think, when I was like 8 years old or 10 years old when I started drinking. You know what I mean? When I got in these rooms, I was sober for a week, and I couldn't understand why everybody didn't have all this respect for me, because I had a whole whatever sober. You know what I mean? And I still had the behaviors, the isms, they call them, of alcoholism, where you're still like a little shady, you're still like a little selfish, you know, and you're looking at a very selfish man right here, left to my own devices. That's why I have to wake up every morning and look up. I got a tapestry in my room. It's kind of like a cheesy little fake tapestry my girlfriend gave me, you know what, but it means the world to me because it's got Jesus and the Last Supper on there. And I get to wake up, and that's the first one I see in the morning. I say, "Good morning, buddy," because he's my best friend, next to Johnny Nix. I know, I learned, okay. But for real, I go, "Good morning, buddy," like this there, and I roll out of bed, and I say the third step prayer. And I remember for Johnny's like first 2 years of sobriety, every morning, my phone would ring or his phone would ring, first thing, and we'd say the third step prayer together. And we learned it. That's how we learned to turn it over every day, because it's not all about me. But the trippy thing is, the more I turn it over and the more I give back, it's the more I've received. It's been like, it's to the point where I feel like, okay, I really don't want to do anything else because I'll get something really big, and then it'll be, you know, because my brain's so screwed up because I'm a whacked out alcoholic. I start thinking, okay, if I start being too generous, and then I might be doing it for the wrong reasons because I think I'm going to get something back for it. You know what I mean? But actually, it's I don't know. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? It's kind of like a crazy thing, but I'm probably spinning out in my head right now. I'm good at that. I've been doing it for a long time. I don't know. I could tell that a lot of you have heard my story a bunch of times, and I try to change it up a little bit, and I just want to keep it more to the solution. And I would say I don't want to go into a big drunk-a-log, but every time somebody says that, they get into a 3-hour drunk-a-log. But I'm just going to say I drank a lot. I got in a lot of trouble. I went to prison. I hurt a lot of people. I was very selfish, and it took a lot for me to get here, to stay here. And I think I read books now. What a concept! I got a new book now. It's called A New Pair of Glasses. And I'm reading it again. It's a very, very good book, I believe. And the guy breaks the stuff down, how the steps and everything works, and what he knew Dr. Bob and Bill and W and all those guys, and he knew what they were doing when they were writing the book, and he's actually questioned them. What did you mean by this? How come you wrote it that way? And then he broke it down and explained a lot of stuff to me. And one of the things he said, that he didn't get sober right away. Neither did I. I relapsed a lot of times before I got serious here. I'm not saying it's okay to do that, or I'm not suggesting it. But what I do believe is, as we as alcoholics, we can't see until we can see. We can't hear it until we can hear it. Does that make any sense to anybody? Until you're ready to open your eyes and learn to listen and listen to learn, it's going to bounce right off you. So I went to a lot of meetings before I got it. I got here, and this was a punishment for me. The judge sent me here, and he said, "You can't drink no more, Mr. Nix. You're a menace to society. We're going to take your bottle of booze away. Ha, 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 how do you like me now?" And I said, "I don't like you at all." Because I liked to party. That was my gig. And I didn't want it then. I didn't want to be sober. It was a punishment. And until I got to the point where I really wanted this thing. And I became willing to want it. And I realized I was an alcoholic. I do have a disease. I'm allergic to alcohol. There's a section of the mind and allergy of the body. Okay, I'm screwed up and I need help. And as soon as I realized that, and I admitted that, and I became okay with that, then I was able to get into the solution. And not until. That's the part what I'm saying about you can't see it until you can see it. You can't hear it until you can hear it. Okay, nobody can say anything to you or show you anything until you're ready to absorb it. And the sooner you become willing and ready to absorb it and be okay with it and get out of the problem. I run an SLE, and I help a friend of mine run his SLEs, and there's a lot of newcomers coming in and stuff. And I play part-time, a very unqualified counselor to them. They come to me with their problems and stuff, and they want to repeat their problem over and over and over and over again. And I'll give them the solution. Real easy, real cut and dry. Stop going there. I'll move you to this house. Boom, you don't have to be around that no more. The problem was your roommate. Your roommate's gone now. You're not there anymore. And they want to stay in that problem. They want to keep feeding the problem, feed the problem, feed the problem, feed the problem. That problem's going to grow. Let the problem go. We know what our problem is. We're alcoholics. Let's get in the solution. What do you do now? You go get the book. And no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You go get a book. Then what do? You get a sponsor. And you read the book with your sponsor. And he explains to you what they're saying in the book. And you work the steps. And your life keeps getting better. You keep doing the next right thing. And you don't drink no matter what. You don't drink even if your ass falls off. If your ass falls off, what do?
Pick it up, take it to a meeting.
Exactly. You pick it up and you take it to a meeting. But you don't drink. A drink is not the answer. There's no problem that you can have that a drink can't make worse. And it will. I can tell you the theory about you have the drink, and then, you have the problem, and you have the drink, and then you get a DUI, and now you got 2 problems, you drink, and then you got 10 problems, yeah. But we've all lived that, so we know. Don't drink no matter what. You get a sponsor, you work the steps, you go to meetings. I strongly suggest that you get into service. Service has been so good for me and everybody I know in this fellowship. Even if it's sweeping the floor, helping stack chairs up, stack chairs down, picking up cigarette butts outside, literature, H&I, treasurer, secretary is up right now. We need a new secretary. Victor's been gracious enough to step up and fill the void until we get someone that's going to do it full time. Thank you very much, Victor. That's what I'm talking about, gratitude. Victor knows that AA saved his life. I didn't have to ask him twice. I said, Victor, man, I'm leaving the country. I need someone to fill in and blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, what do I do? There wasn't no, I kind of got trying to squirm out of it. He said, where do I start? Where do I sign? What do I do? And I went, yeah, that guy's going to stay sober. That's how you do it, man. Just like that. Hey, now. But, I don't know, man. I could go on forever or stuff like that. And another opinion of mine is this sobriety thing. Is the first thing you got to do is you got to bring your phone in the meeting. The sobriety is almost everything I'm going to tell you guys. I've stolen it from other meetings, off of things I've heard from other people, and I've kind of got my own opinion of what I've heard and how it works for me. You know what I'm saying? And if you go to enough meetings, man, you can hear a lot of good stuff, and it sinks in. A little more. Each meeting I go to, I try to get a little something out of it. And what I've kind of got from I've been to quite a few meetings, is that it doesn't matter if you have 1 day of sobriety or if you have 50 years of sobriety. My personal opinion is what sobriety is when you've been able to, through working the steps and reading the book and fellowshipping and becoming part of this thing, that you've been able to build a relationship with yourself. You've learned to love yourself again. When you can get up in the morning and look in the mirror and say, Yeah, I like that guy. And be okay with it, you know. When you've learned to behave on a daily basis where you don't have to feel bad about your actions. When you do something rotten, when you steal something or you misbehave, you act out or you do something in your old behaviors, you walk away from that situation going, oh, son of a, yeah, I can't believe he made me do that. Fuck, now I'm a jerk again. You're not serene. You're not in sobriety right then. The trick is to live your life on such a way that you can be cool with your actions. And the book and the sponsor and the steps and hanging out with the people that are doing the right things are going to teach you how to change your ways. Teach you how to quit being so selfish. Teach you how to start seeing things from other people's point of view. I rarely have road rage anymore. That was a bad one for me. Someone swings over and cuts me off. Now I go, yeah, God bless you. And the people in the truck with me go, what? They go, God bless you, like that. And I kind of laugh. And you know what? I'm not mad at all anymore. Maybe for a quarter of a second before I say God bless you, I'm pissed. And then not no more. Because you know what? I don't know what that person's going through. I don't know if they're just got in a fight with their old lady or their mom just died or what's going on, if they're late to go pick up whatever. You know what I mean? I just hope they get where they need to go unharmed and they don't hurt anybody along the way. That's why I say God bless you, and I hope you get to where you're going safely. Because I don't know. Because I'm not a perfect driver either. Get me on a cell phone in town, oh, it's bad. It's a bad thing. But one of my character defects I work on. When I realize I'm on the phone when I'm driving, I got to get off the phone. I've learned to admit the fact that I cannot drive and talk on the phone very well. So I get off the phone. And some of the greatest rewards I get from this fellowship is working with others, giving back. Like I said, I have an SLE full of guys. And I get to see them grow on a daily basis, and I get to learn from them every day. I look in their eyes and I go through their, because, like I said, I'm a selfish person, and I get to see what they're going through, and I get to give them positive, hey man, you can do it, it's going to be all right, hang in there type of thing, and attaboy when they do something good, you know what I mean? And by doing that, it keeps me out of my own head, because it's a squirrel cage up there, man. It's crazy, left to my own devices. And I've learned how to do this stuff through this program because, like I said, I was a very selfish person. Working with others, working with my sponsees. They call me, sometimes I get too many. Sometimes just recently I've been neglecting a few of them. And I feel really bad about it, and I need to get plugged back in. But you know what? At least I recognize it today. I recognize the fact that I'm slacking on my end. I've got this trip I've been planning, and it's all coming to a head, and I've been a little stressed out, and I just kind of stepping back. So everybody else needs to take a break while I get this straightened out, you know what I mean? And instead, what I need to do is I need to call those people and tell them, hey, you know what? I'm really busy right now, and you're going to have to give me a little time instead of just avoiding the calls. Because like I said, I'm not perfect, but I recognize it today. Anybody can do this. Anybody can get sober. Anybody can be a drunk. So why can't anybody get sober? There's nobody too smart or too dumb or too tall or too short, too black or too white, too guy or too girl, whatever. It don't matter. If you come to these rooms and you want to get sober and you do what's suggested, you can get sober and you can stay sober. And you can get that thing what I was talking about, sobriety, when you can look in the mirror and be okay with who you see. Because for a long time, I wasn't. I didn't realize that I didn't like myself until I looked back at how I treated myself. I tried to drink and use myself to death many a times. I didn't realize it. But I stopped, and if I look back at it, my drug of choice was more. I could never have enough booze and never enough of anything. You know what I mean? It's just more until I dropped. And there was no ever, I'm going to go out and have a beer. Never thought about going out and having a beer. My gosh. I'm just so happy to be here, and I see the miracles in these rooms, and it blows me away. You know what I mean? And I know a couple people in this room, I look around, that we were really considered hopeless alcoholics. We were the drunken, babbling idiots. And now we're respectable, productive members of society that can hold our head up and go look at anybody right in the eye and talk to them and have an intelligent conversation. And feel good about what we say. And afterwards, we're employable today. It's a miracle. And if any of the newcomers are having a hard time finding God, or your higher power, the reason you're having a hard time finding him is because he's not lost. Look around you. Look inside yourself. He's everywhere. My opinion is God is everything or he is nothing. Okay, God is good, God is people. My opinion. And you know what? In my opinion, by doing that, I call Jesus Christ my higher power. And the funny thing is, you can call me crazy or whatever, but you know what? I've been sober for 7.5 years because I decided to pick a higher power and stick with him and quit trying to be that higher power myself. Because I drove a train wreck when I was in control. I mean a train wreck. We're all nuts. Do you know that? My opinion, once again, in the big book, it talks about, there's a section there about the jaywalker. If anybody's read that. Anybody in here read that? Can I see a show of hands? Okay, everybody that doesn't have their hand up, please go get the big book and read it. Okay? It's a great thing. It really is. It talks about the insanity of disease. It talks about doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. How about doing the same thing over and over, knowing the result's going to be bad, and you do it anyway. And I can tell you a story about me doing that, but I don't want Johnny to. Okay, I'll save it this time, Johnny. All right? I got to be careful what I say. Johnny's going to pull my covers on me now. I'm just kidding now. It's just another war story about when I was drinking, and I knew if I drank that drink, I was going to go to prison. And I looked at it, and I said, this is going to suck, and I drank it anyway, and I went to prison again. It's knowing. I had that beer knowing if I drank it, I was going to go to prison. And I did it anyway. It's pathetic. And it's the way I operated. I heard a lady sharing the other night about here in this room. She talked about being powerless over alcohol. And she said she could control her drinking. She just couldn't control when she could control her drinking. You know what I mean? Sometimes she can go out and have a couple beers and go home and be fine. Sometimes it's a boom, straight to the blackout, nonstop. And she didn't know if it was going to be that way this time or next time or whenever. And I could really relate to that. I relate to almost everything I hear out of every share. I find something I can relate to. Because when I look for the differences, it makes it for a bad meeting and a boring meeting, and I don't like it. If I look for the similarities, it's a pretty good meeting. And I also try to bring something to every meeting I go to make it a better meeting if I can. And if I can't, well, you know what? I've made it to another meeting anyway, And there's a lot. We're blessed by having all the meetings we do have here in Santa Rosa, Sonoma County. How many are there? 359? Every week. 359 meetings every week. It's not like that everywhere. We're pretty lucky. You can find a meeting to make your home group. I suggest to everybody that they do that. Get a home group, get in the mix, get a commitment of some kind, be part of. Okay, I like to think of AA as a, because I'm crazy, I get all these analogies. Picture a merry-go-round. Remember when we were all kids and we go to the playground? And there was that merry-go-round that you get on and your buddies get you going, right? Way too fast, right? And you notice that the further out on the edge of the merry-go-round you got, the more apt you were to fly off. But if you get right in the middle, dead center of that thing, you can almost not even hold on and just spin around. That's how it's called centrifugal force. The closer to the edge you get, the more it wants to suck you off. It's the same with this program. If you want to stay sober and get sobriety, you get in the center of it. You get in the center of this. And how you do it is by getting a book, working the steps, get a commitment, become part of. Okay? Staying, anonymous, last one in, first one to leave stuff. Sure, that's cool. That'll get your paper signed. But it's not going to make that change inside here that's going to take to give you a better quality of life. That's what I came here for. I didn't want to drink. I did want to get off parole, but I got tired of having a shitty-ass life. You know what I mean? I got tired of waking up Monday morning broke. I got tired of not wanting to look at myself in the mirror. I got tired of hurting the people around me. I've been married way too many times. These divorces get expensive after a while, man. You know what I mean? And the jobs, I got tired of not being able to look my boss in the eye. I got tired of going to jail. I got tired of paying fines. I got tired of getting pulled over. I don't have to deal with none of that anymore. I wake up, by the grace of God, I get to wake up sober. I don't come to anymore. I wake up, see my tapestry, say my third step. It's right above my head in my bedroom, and I say my third step prayer. I roll out of bed, I get in the shower, start my day off on the right foot. Say, what am I going to do? The next right thing. You know what I mean? And like, if you're wondering if you're in God's will or your own will, the way I figured that out is if it's something you really want for yourself, regardless of what happens to anybody else over the deal, it's probably your will. Get out of there. If it's doing the right thing for all mankind, basically, or for the right thing for the right reasons, and we know what difference between right and wrong. I don't care who you are, you know. If you do the right thing, you're probably in God's will. And if you can stay there, I get back in my own will every day. But you know what? Through this program, I've learned how to recognize it, step back a little bit. It's like being on a football team. Step back and punt, man. You can start your day over at any time. Step back, say the third step prayer or the serenity prayer. These prayers are for a reason. The St. Francis prayer is a good one. I'm just getting a little more and more familiar with that because it helps me a lot. And those little cards, I don't know if those little cards are up there, but the acceptance one is really good. And the one that kills me was the, what's it, emotional maturity? Is that the one? Oh, that's rough. Has anybody read that little card? It's brutal. Why would you think you're mature? Read that card. You realize you got a long way to go, man. That's a rough one. But you know what? That's good because you know what? It's just like this program. You're never finished. You're never going to be cured of alcoholism. I'm sorry to be the guy to break the news to you. That's why I'm sorry, Dale, brother. It's all good. You need a hug? But, we never be cured. But you know what? As long as you come to grips with the fact that you are an alcoholic and there is a solution and you stay in the solution and you build yourself a support group, get phone numbers, man. Get them phone numbers. Start calling the guys, going to coffee afterwards, start fellowshipping. They just had a great rafting trip. I really wish I would have went on it, but I didn't go. I heard there was a lot of fun going on the rafting trip. There's clean and sober softball leagues. There's hikes. They have hat and glove luncheons for the ladies. All kinds of weird stuff they do. You know what I mean? But you know what? You went to that hat and glove thing, didn't you? Right? All right. But, dodgeball for soccer paw. You don't got to be a kid. Matter of fact, you can be real old. Johnny played. But yeah, you guys, you know what? The thing is, don't take yourself so darn serious. Okay? Because we're human and we're going to make mistakes. But you know what? Take your sobriety serious. Really, take your sobriety serious. Because without sobriety, you're not going to have anything. If you don't get in the middle of this thing and hang with it, it's okay you're a drunk. So it's not okay to drink. Okay? I mean, the girls, stick together, man. The guys, stick together. Give this thing a shot, I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of ripping myself off. If anybody did to me what I did to me, I'd have killed them. No kidding. Today I like myself. And I don't have to do those things to myself anymore. I'm giving myself a shot at life, I'll tell you some of the blessings that AA's brought me. Okay? I don't want to sound selfish and talk about me, but you gave me the microphone, so you're stuck with it. I'm off parole. I'm not on probation anymore. And that's a big thing for me. I was on parole for a long time. I went to prison 14 times. Yeah. Oh my God, exactly. It's because it was okay to have a beer. Each one of those times. Just one. Well, let me tell you something. I never had one of anything. Okay? And every time I had a beer, boom, my parole officer was right there. You know what I mean? And it's not because he violated me. It's because I drank the beer. I've learned that now since I've been sober for a while. That every time I ever got in trouble or anything bad ever happened in my life, there was one common denominator. I was there. And so I had to fix me from the inside out. I could talk about you drank if you were married to the bitch I was married to, or just, you know what I'm saying? And all these things. Well, the cop pulled me over and, this and that, and my parole officer violated me, or he snitched me off, or this or that, you know what I mean? But the fact is, I'm the one doing the crimes. I'm the one that did everything that I got in trouble for. And if the truth be known, if I did all the time for everything I ever did wrong, I'd be like, is there such thing as a 1,000,000-year sentence? That's probably I'd be in there for a long time for all the crap that I did. But God gave me another chance. I went to Turning Point. I got sober. I found some winners to hang out with, the people that had what I wanted. I worked the steps. I've had commitments ever since. I worked the steps to the best of my ability. I have sponsees now I work with on a daily basis. Like I said, I'm not on parole. I'm not on probation anymore. I was able to make amends. I paid my second wife left me and took my daughter. I didn't see her for I think it was 12 years. I didn't see my daughter. My wife would not let me have a visit. Would not let me have a phone call. I don't know if you guys remember 2 weeks ago when I wasn't here and Marcus shared. Well, that's because I was invited to my daughter's graduation. Okay? And that didn't happen overnight. That did not happen overnight. That happened because I did the next right thing a lot of times in a row. And I accepted my part, right? And I know that I was not a good father. I know that I was not present for her. I know that I lied a lot. I broke a lot of promises, not intentionally, but I made promises and I wasn't able to fulfill them. I know that, I took my part in it, and I knew by listening to the men in this room that told me, you do the next right thing, and your daughter will come back around in your life. You don't drink. You do the steps. You do this right thing. You don't steal. You don't cheat. You don't do anything. You keep sending the birthday presents. You keep calling and emailing and doing your part. You clean up your side of the street. And you keep doing that, and you don't screw up anymore. And be accepting of what's been going on, and God will put her back in your life. This went on for the second year. But, I've been in school for 2 years now. Hell, she ought to be living with me by now. No. Third year, nothing. Fourth year, nothing. I kept doing the right thing. Fifth year, I kept doing the right thing. Sixth year, I kept doing the right thing. The seventh year of my sobriety, I started getting a little bit of answers to my emails. Okay? I get a phone call here and there. You know what I'm saying? And then I got invited to the graduation, and what a gift. What a gift you guys gave me. I got to hug my daughter. She told me she loved me and she missed me, and she wants to see me more. It's because of what I got from this fellowship. It's a huge gift for me. I want to thank you all for that. Give yourselves a hand. A couple more gifts I got from this fellowship was I got to make my amends. I got to pay off everybody I owed money to. And believe me, that was no little list. No little list. I paid off probably $100,000 I was behind. And I paid off all my child support. I paid off the banks, everything. There's a lot of wreckage out there I caused. I was able to pay it all off in full. I'm able to purchase a home. I'm a homeowner now, a house. Let's go back to the gratitude. You know why I got that house? Johnny Nix. Because God gave it to me. It's God's house. He just let me rent it for a while. This fellowship kept me sober long enough to do it. And so for gratitude, what I did is I opened up an SLE. And I got a house full of guys that are sober. One day at a time. Great bunch of guys, man. I wake up and they're farting and cussing and carrying on. And I'm just, quit cussing, quit carrying on. You know, but you know what? I love every one of those guys, man. They're like my brothers. They are my brothers. You know what I mean? And I get to see them come up. You know, you see them come up one at a time here, getting their year chip. Brett, right on, Brett. 1 year. You're the man, brother. Right on. Proud of that guy. It's not easy. That first year is a tough one. That first year is a tough one, you know. And I see these guys come in, and I just seen the lights come on. You know what I mean? They start getting they get that self-respect back. They're doing the right things. They're working. It's just the miracles. I get to see the miracles, man. If anybody has a hard time with the higher power, what is God? You know, you may know what a miracle is?
Me.
Art's a miracle. Dale's a miracle. I want to go down the line. Hey, you're not drunk today. That is a miracle. It's something that only can be explained by an act of God is what a miracle is, I believe. Is that right, Jim? Close enough? Whenever I need to know what a word means, Jim's the guy. He's got like super college dude, but pretty smart guy. He's been a big help to me in my sobriety, huge, along with a lot of you guys in this room. But like you know, can only be explained by act of God. That's a miracle. And I don't know about you guys, but I couldn't stay sober by myself. It had to be an act of God to help me get sober. I think that's in everybody's case in here. I see a whole room full of miracles. And if you think there's no God, you're pretty arrogant son. Pretty arrogant. If you don't think so, well, you know what? Get over it. Because He does great things. And until I surrendered to Him and realized that He's the one, man. Without Him, I'm nothing. Without God in my life. And my life is wonderful now. I get to go out and get in my new Chevy pickup and leave here, pull up in front of my house. I got a nice Corvette parked in the driveway. My house is clean. It's immaculate. I got a bunch of great guys living there. I got season tickets for the Giants. I get to go to as many Giants games as I can stand in a year, which is a lot of games. I like the Giants. But this year I get to, this weekend, what a blessing. I get to go on a lot of you guys know about this already, and Johnny's got to leave the room because he's tired of hearing about it. But I get to go to Africa. Man, I'm leaving this weekend for Africa to go do some work over there with some friends of mine where they did some missionary type work, building a clinic and a mission and some other stuff like that. And what a blessing. I couldn't even get out of a motel room a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? And now I get to leave my home that that the bank owns, but I get to pretend like it's mine and God's. But me and God kind of share it. We're buddies. And but I get to go to Africa, man, for a month. You know, and I go on safaris, and I get to get a whole new aspect on life, and put life in perspective for me to see. Maybe I think I'm going to be a lot more humble when I get back to see how other people live. I'm going to see extreme poverty and extreme wealth at the same time, and kind of get in the mix of it and go, it's 10,000. I've never been out of the country, and this is a gift from this program. It's an adventure, man. I remember talking about stuff when I was a kid. Yeah, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go there. I'm going to be a fisherman in Alaska and this and that. I never did none of that. I was a drunken carpenter, and I never got anywhere. Today I get to go places, When I get back, me and my brother are going to Vegas. After that, I'm going to Reno for a while. Then me and my sister are going to Hawaii after that. It's the kind of stuff we get to do. And, you know, you guys can do this. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling you guys. I'm trying to give you hope here. If this 14-time loser can turn it around and have a wonderful life, so can you. You know, a lot of you guys already do, and you know what I'm talking about. It's very, very doable. Because all you got to do is quit trying to control everything. Let God be in control. You just do the footwork. Get that book and take the suggestions that your sponsor does. And this is an action, by the way, program. Reading the book ain't going to do you no good if you don't do what they tell you or suggest. It's a little bit of work involved. But it's not that much, man. And you can do it. And that's all I got. Thank you.